Some of the breaking news coming in. Walmart, the world's largest retailer, is issuing a new warning today, warning the company will have to raise prices due to President Trump's tariffs.
Well, there you have it. The world's largest retailer and the biggest private employer in the United States, Walmart, has just announced that because of Donald Trump and Donald Trump alone, not Joe Biden, not the Democrats, but Donald Trump, they are having to raise the prices of their goods on the American people. You and me, even Trump supporters, all of us, we will all be paying the price for Trump's stupidity and recklessness. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several things to look at here. We're going to finish this clip from CNN, or at least get a little bit more into it. And then we're actually going to look at some articles from conservative publications like the National Review and the Wall Street Journal. Can't wait to hear what they have to say on this because it's interesting. There's a dissonance there. They're conservative, they're pro-Republican, which means all else equal, they support Trump and have supported Trump. And yet, Trump is defying their principles on a day-to-day basis. So that dissonance is really fun and interesting to explore. So we'll get to that. But first, let's finish some of this clip.
The company's CEO, Doug McMillon, is expected to tell analysts this on an earnings call today. I'll read you a quote as they sent out excerpts ahead of time. "We will do our best to keep our prices as low as possible, but given the magnitude of the tariffs, even at the reduced levels announced this week, we aren't able to absorb all the pressure given the reality of narrow retail margins." Walmart said the prices will begin to go up later this month, and the hikes could put the company also in an uncomfortable position, if you will, with the Trump administration. You'll remember last month, the White House publicly shamed Jeff Bezos and also threatened Mattel's CEO with 100% tariffs after they said tariffs would lead to higher prices. Compare this news today with what Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told CNN's Dana Bash just on Sunday.
So we do expect a 10% baseline tariff to be in place for the foreseeable future, but don't buy the silly arguments that the U.S. consumer pays.
Except that's exactly what Walmart is telling you. Walmart is saying the U.S. consumer will pay, which is what pretty much every liberal, progressive, and yes, conservative economist has said as well, which is why the consensus on this has been so bad for Trump. I will also point out, I don't know if Walmart will do this, but they should do this, is Amazon briefly entertained the idea of itemizing the increased cost of the tariff, like what the Amazon price is, but also Trump's tariff price as well, itemizing that so that the consumer would see, oh, it's not Amazon, it's not Walmart just arbitrarily hiking prices. Given how sinister corporations can be, it would be a fair assumption. But they could say, okay, it's cost this much, and because of Trump, there's going to be this additional cost, this surcharge. And Donald Trump and Carolyn Levitt lost their shit publicly and privately at the notion that Amazon would do that, and Amazon backed down. But recent polling indicates that that's exactly what the American people want. The American people were polled on this, and they want to know specifically in an itemized way how much Trump's tariffs will raise prices on them. It's a genius idea. We'll see if Walmart does it. But now let's look at the conservative Wall Street Journal. Walmart plans to raise prices because of tariffs. The retailer has weathered the trade war, but says the full impact of tariffs on consumers has yet to come. Key points. Walmart plans to raise prices this month and early this summer due to tariff-affected merchandise. Sales rose steadily as shoppers sought deals and fast shipping, but the trade war's impact is yet to come. Walmart didn't share a profit forecast for the current quarter and may absorb some tariff costs to keep prices lower. Higher prices are coming to Walmart shelves. The retailer said Thursday that it plans to raise prices this month and early this summer, passing along some of the costs as the tariff-affected merchandise hits store shelves. Quote, "The magnitude and speed at which these prices are coming to us is somewhat unprecedented in history," Walmart Chief Financial Officer John David Rainey said in an interview with the Wall Street Journal. He said sales rose steadily in the latest quarter, as shoppers flocked to deals and fast shipping, but the full impact of the trade war on consumers has yet to come. Quote, "It's a dynamic and fluid environment," said Rainey. Walmart didn't share a profit forecast for the current quarter because the company may absorb some tariff costs to keep prices lower than competitors, Rainey said. Walmart is already raising some of the prices as its suppliers pass through higher costs. For example, tariffs drove up the price of bananas, one of the most frequently purchased items at Walmart, to 54 cents a pound, up from 50 cents, he said. Earlier this week, the United States agreed to temporarily lower tariffs on Chinese imports to 30% from 145%. A 30% tariff on Chinese goods is better than 145%, but it still means a meaningful price increase for most consumers, Rainey said. In March and April, stock markets gyrated and consumer sentiment plummeted, but Walmart's sales grew. The company's U.S. comparable sales from those from stores and digital channels operating for at least 12 months rose 4.5% in the 3 months ended May 2nd, beating investors' expectations. Unlike many other companies, Walmart left its sales and profit forecast for the full year unchanged. Previously, Walmart had set cautious expectations for its financial performance this year, in part because of the unpredictability of tariffs. Walmart is likely to be a relative winner in a time of economic uncertainty, Rainey said. Quote, "We tend to gain share, come out stronger." Walmart shares rose around 2% in pre-market trading. Walmart grew steadily through the pandemic and the period of steep inflation that followed. The Trump administration's on and off again tariffs have created a new challenge for retailers. Some of the impacts have yet to hit retailers' shelves, in part because many companies stockpiled goods ahead of the tariffs or postponed shipments from China. So far, the economic impact of tariffs has been muted in the U.S., with unemployment and inflation holding steady. Walmart said its consumers in the latest quarter continued to shop cautiously, as they have for the past few years because of inflation on essentials such as groceries and childcare. That has been a boon to Walmart. Walmart Thursday said more high-income households in the U.S. chose the retailer for groceries, and shoppers embraced its low-price store brand and, quote, rollbacks, or temporary deals. Overall inflation ticked slightly higher in the latest quarter, primarily due to the price of eggs, the company said. Walmart's global e-commerce business grew 22% in the quarter. So, this is the Wall Street Journal giving you just kind of the facts of the matter. Interview with Walmart's CFO. Very clear, this is unprecedented. It's staggering, and they're going to raise the prices because of Donald Trump. Now, let's look at the National Review, another major conservative publication. Well, this is basically a reframing of what we already read. This is the more like straight assessment of the facts as the Wall Street Journal provided. But what's interesting here come the tariff price hikes from Noah Rothman, one of the key writers at the Wall Street Journal. Okay? Quote, "The magnitude and speed at which the prices are coming to us is somewhat unprecedented in history," end quote. That's how Walmart CFO John David Rainey characterized the effect of Trump's global trade war on his company's bottom line, effects that the retailer could not continue to absorb. Quote, "It's a dynamic and fluid environment," Rainey told the Wall Street Journal. That's a diplomatic way of stressing how destabilizing Trump's on-again, off-again tariff regime has been for any business that relies on foreign supply chains. And, quote, "The full impact of the trade war on consumers has yet to come," end quote, the journal warned. Thus, the nation's largest retailer has had no choice but to raise its prices, with more price hikes for consumers expected to come online soon. Walmart had resisted increasing its prices. As the journal reported last month, Walmart and other major retailers like Home Depot, Target, and Amazon were, quote, pressuring their suppliers to absorb cost increases and dropping free perks from corporate offices. Indeed, Walmart became the object of the Chinese Communist Party's contempt when it attempted to force its Chinese suppliers to eat the new costs associated with U.S. imports. Quote, "Walmart's demand for Chinese suppliers to bear the full tariff burden is unreasonable and disrupts fair competition and international trade order," said one state television broadcaster. But Walmart and its competitors alike warned the president and their shareholders that these contingencies would not repeal the law of supply and demand. Something would have to give. In the weeks that have elapsed since Liberation Day, Americans did not experience tariff-induced sticker shock. Many analysts expected the public to encounter price hikes when U.S. retailers exhausted their current inventories. But Walmart's price adjustments are likely to be hard to miss. It operates over 4,600 stores, along with 600 Sam's Clubs, and has the second largest share of retail e-commerce market, behind Amazon. Last year, while Americans were cutting back on discretionary purchases, they were increasing the amount of time and money they spent at Walmart. Quote, "Groceries account for more than half of Walmart's sales, and Walmart has benefited from its pricing advantage," CNN reported at the time. Quote, "Walmart's prices are around 25% lower than traditional supermarkets, according to analyst comparisons." In March, a YouGov survey ranking consumers' preferences found that nearly 64% of U.S. adults named Walmart as their preferred grocer, with Target coming at a distant second place. Estimates indicate that as much as 44% of the U.S. population patronizes Walmart annually. Walmart isn't the only retailer raising consumer prices to match increased operating costs. Some of them have even had the gall to properly inform their customers about the conditions that have compelled them to increase prices. Acts of radical transparency, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt deemed, quote, "a hostile and political act," end quote, last month. The truth hurts, and no amount of hectoring from the lectern in the James Brady briefing room will repel market forces. Americans are about to feel the pain Trump promised us in February. Defenders of the tariff regime insist that the temporary reducing Americans' purchasing power is necessary to realize a more fulfilling social compact, one preferred by the social engineers in Washington. Doubtlessly, millions of Americans support that project, at least in the abstract, but the cost of this endeavor about to come due while its rewards will be realized, if they are ever realized in the way the tariffs regime's architects imagine, in the distant future. By far and away, Trump's voters' first priority was to see consumer costs that ballooned under President Biden go down. That's what Trump promised to do, but he's done the opposite. Those who think themselves clever will try to argue voters out of their resentment toward a broken promise, but you can't argue a bad policy into a good one, and pundits never get the last word. That privilege is exclusive to the voters. So yeah, in other words, the conservative Wall Street Journal, the conservative National Review, who are principally conservative, pro-Republican, and again, nominally pro-Trump, they just are publicly calling him out for his stupidity and his recklessness, particularly with respect to the tariff policy. And this is black and white. We need not read the tea leaves. We need not indulge in any abstract interpretations. Walmart has made it very clear. They are raising the prices because of tariffs, not Joe Biden, not DEI, not whatever boogeyman, the right, not critical race theory. Donald Trump is doing this. Donald Trump is forcing the world's biggest retailer and the United States' largest private employer to raise prices on the goods of the American people in their 4,600 plus stores and online. So yeah, and Democrats should keep reminding the American people of that every damn day. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.